All right, so Charlotte's coworker set her up on a date. Things were going awesome. And out of the blue, he had an emergency. It happens, and he had to bounce. But she has not heard from him since, which makes her think he completely made up the emergency. And she wants to know what's up with the Bert Show's second date update. Tommy, do we have Charlotte?
She's not there yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
She bounced on us.
Yeah,
Art imitating life right
It
now.
really honestly is.
I mean, the medical. I'm thinking, because I've had a friend in this situation before that had some really, really bad stomach problems. But they occurred. You know how sometimes those things can escalate from 0 to 70 in like 3 seconds?
Yes.
So I think I told you guys the story maybe that everything's going fine. He's really looking forward to going out on this date. He parks his car. He knocks on her door, and he can hear her footsteps as she's approaching the door. And all of a sudden, his stomach sort of explodes on him, and there is nothing he can do. So he ends up going on the date. And I told you guys this. The dude literally pooped himself on the date.
So that's not
literally pooped himself on the date.
That's not his stomach exploding. That's another area exploding.
Yeah, I was trying to be kind.
All right, we do have Charlotte on the line. All right, so Charlotte, tell us about this date and exactly what happened that an emergency popped up and he had to bounce.
Yeah, so the date was great, I think.
How did you meet him, by the way?
Oh, so we actually met through a coworker of mine who's friends with Bradley.
Okay.
And
Bradley. We call him. He's not Brad, y'all. He's Bradley.
No, Bradley doesn't have stomach issues.
No.
Okay.
A person named Bradley does not crap themselves, Bert. So that's not
Right.
going to be an issue.
Brad is gassy all the time. Bradley, however, is not Oh, actually, you know what? Bradley is lactose intolerant.
But he takes the proper pills to make sure he's not gassy. All right, we are so sorry, Charlotte. Okay, go ahead.
Wow. Okay.
Your coworker introduced you to Bradley, and it seemed like a good match.
Yeah, he and I had actually met a few times before that, and I found him really attractive, but he had a girlfriend before, so, I'd asked my coworker about him a while ago, and she was like, Charlotte, I'm not a fan of his girlfriend. If they ever break up, I'll totally set you guys up. Like, you'd be great together. And so they did break up, and, she said something to him about me, and he was like, yeah, I'd totally be into seeing her. So, that's how that all happened. And, we went out to dinner, and we had a really good time. I feel like we just had a really good rapport. We were laughing a lot, just seemed to have a lot in common. And it was great. So I asked if he wanted to come back to my place for a nightcap, and he said yes. We were just hanging out at my place, and I don't know, had maybe been there for like an hour, and he got a text and was like, oh my God, there's an emergency with my mom. I have to go. And I didn't want to like pry too much. So he left.
But he specifically said there's an emergency with my mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I texted the next day to just see if she was okay. And I never heard back from him.
And so your friend, through a coworker, have you checked in on the coworker and just been like, hey, this happened. Is everything cool with Bradley and his mom?
Yeah, and I feel like she was a little vague about it. I just told her what happened and was like, this is kind of weird. Like, do you know why I haven't heard from him? And she was like, oh, yeah, he kind of does that sometimes. Basically said, like, don't take it personally, but I don't know what that means. So
don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah, like as though he does this to people all the time, but I feel like she would have mentioned that before setting us up if he was like someone who just ghosted people all the time, you know?
Or like he does this all the time, like his mom is needy and constantly like calling, so he has to run off. Like, what did she mean he does all the time specifically?
Like she was saying, he sometimes just does that where he doesn't respond to people and kind of disappears. But
Oh, she's talking about
I
him
don't
just
know.
kind of ghosting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think it had anything to do with the emergency situation.
The excuse.
Well, it could be a combination of both things. It could be, I mean, if I'm going to be frank, it could be like he just wasn't having a connection with you on the date. And mom did have an emergency, so he goes to take care of mom. And then because he didn't consider this a home run date, just never got back to you.
But I mean, when she texts to ask, like, hey, hope everything's okay with your mom, I mean, I'm going to say it. A decent person would be like, she's good, thanks for checking in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if something happened to his mom, I feel like he would have responded.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Charlotte, Tommy did reach out to Bradley, and we do have an answer for you. So, you will get a second date update. So, I just need you to hang tight because we have something very important that we need to handle, and that is a complimentary rap battle. So, I apologize for putting you on hold like this. But as soon as we do this rap battle, we will come back and we will tell you exactly what Bradley had to say, okay?
Okay.
All right. Hang tight, Charlotte.
The Bert Show.
We just chatted with Charlotte, and she broke down that her friends had set her up with a guy named Bradley, and they went out on a date. She had met him a couple times, went out on a date. She thought the date was going great. And then all of a sudden, he said there was an emergency with his mom, and he had to bounce. He did. She hit him up the next day and asked him how the mom was doing, and she never heard from him again. So she asked her friends, and they were just kind of chalked it up to, Charlotte, what did they say? Like, this is kind of his MO. This is what he does.
Yeah, like he's just weird about stuff sometimes. He's disappeared like that before. It's not personal.
Got it. So if this is a guy who does this, why in the world did they set you up with him?
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, here's an obvious follow-up to what Kristen is saying. If this is a guy that is a known flake that will just bail, will you ever feel secure hanging out with this guy? Like, not only why did they set you up, but is this dude even worthy of your time?
I don't know.
He's not, Bert, but we want to know what the heck happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah,
put him
we
on
got-
blast.
We got ratings to think about. Yep.
Exactly. Thank you. You even get that all the way from Poland. I'm so proud of you.
That translates anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what country you're in. Okay, so you gave us his contact information, Charlotte, and we had our studio director, Tommy, reach out. And Tommy, I'm going to let you take it from here, sir.
I did, and you guys were making fun of his name earlier, Bradley. How would you guys spell Bradley?
Bradley.
Yeah, that's how most people would spell it. He doesn't have an E in his name. It's like Bradly, which I thought was weird. Ew.
It's not weird, Tommy.
It is weird.
It's
a little weird.
No.
No. That is the first time I've ever seen that in my life. Anyway, so I texted Bradley yesterday, and I said, "Hi, Bradley. My name's Tommy Owen. I'm with The Bert Show. I think I heard you're aware of our show, so you may be familiar with a segment we do called Second Date Update." And he immediately replied and said, "Hey, Tommy, !" So I knew he was excited. I think I do know the segment. My coworker's next to me, and she doesn't believe you are actually texting me. And I said, "That's hilarious. I'm glad you guys listen. Is she familiar with the Second Date Update?" And he said, "Yes. I just asked her, and she knew instantly. Now she's making fun of me and wants to know why you would be contacting me about this." And I said, "Well, did you recently go out with a girl named Charlotte?" And he said, "Now we are laughing even harder." And I said, "Why's that?" And he said, "Because we knew it was about her." And I said, "Well, can you tell me what happened?" And he said, "I guess so. She took it too far." And I said, "What do you mean?"
Well, hold on one second before you read on. Charlotte, he said you took it too far. Do you have any idea what you took too far?
No, I have no idea what that means.
Okay, go ahead, Tommy.
And then Bradley said, "I mean, we went out. She invited me back to her place. I went, but shouldn't have. She was very aggressive and clearly wanted to hook up. I'm sure most guys aren't like me, but that isn't something I'm interested in on the first date. It was a turnoff to me. I didn't want her to be embarrassed or feel bad, so I made up an emergency and left. And I said, and that's it? He said, yes, but I didn't exactly know how to tell her that. So I guess you can tell her.
No, you just did, Bradley.
And I
with
said,
no E.
ha, thanks. At least you were honest. And that was it.
All right, so Charlotte, when you all went back to your apartment, what was the vibe? Did you pick up on that he wasn't like into being intimate or physical, or did you push too hard?
I'm a little bit stunned right now.
Yeah.
I just felt like we were really on the same page. Like he seemed really all about coming over and hanging out. I don't think I was pushing hard at all. I think I was being a little bit flirtatious like you do on a date.
But nothing, Davi, Mo?
I mean, I want to know what aggressive is. Like, were you
And,
just
we
trying
had
to
a
make
few
out?
drinks, so I guess I was a little bit physical, but not. I guess I've never had a guy not want that.
But like kissy physical. You weren't grabbing it, were you, Charlotte?
No.
Okay.
I mean, but
so.
I've gotten heat for using this term, but I'm going to use it anyway. Dude, man up and say, hey, you know what? I'm just not. You know what? This is our first date. This is a little too much for me right now, and that's it. I mean, it's over at that point. So for him to my mom's got an emergency, and then take off and then ghost you. I mean, come on, dude. Be a man.
I mean, sometimes that's met with aggression,
really.
Like speaking for a lot of women, when we shut down that moment, sometimes it's handled aggressively. So maybe he has been in that situation before where he was like, this is moving too fast. And somebody got angry at him or emasculated him. Like maybe he was just trying to lie to save face.
I mean, I would have said something. That's just me. But I mean, I know some people are just not confrontational like that. So he probably just didn't have, what it takes to just come out and say it. But if you were being flirtatious and aggressive and he wasn't showing signs that he was cool with it, I'm not sure. I wasn't there, but then that should have been your sign.
Here's the story I'm giving you, Charlotte, that his parts weren't working properly and he ran away because he was embarrassed.
No, you're not going to put that on him. He wasn't comfortable. He wasn't comfortable getting intimate.
I don't know. For a Bradley with no E, that kind of tracks. I'm siding with Bert.
I guess I just wish he would have said something. I feel like that would have been so easily handled.
Probably. He panicked in the moment and he did what he did. But now you know. And now you have your answer.
And then even the next day to not respond when I was like, hey, is your mom okay? Come on.
That I agree with. There should have been some kind of response afterwards. But you have your answer, Charlotte. And now you know.
The Bert Show.
Hey, do you like what you just watched? Because you can get more Bert Show for free. We drop new podcast every weekday, and you can find us anywhere. Spotify, Apple, any place you get podcasts.